Hello everyone, today I will be reviewing the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Slash and Leatherhead 2 pack. So this is a quick look at the box, how they are packed in. At the bottom you will see the NECA credits, the top, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles logo. And on the side you see artwork for Leatherhead. On the back is just a generic description of the turtles, and then more artwork. And on the other side, artwork of Slash. So let's get them open. And out of the box you can see them packed nicely in the trays with the tape and wire. And then a second tray with more accessories. Taking a closer look at Slash's accessories, he has a half-eaten pepperoni pizza with painted on cheese, tomatoes and pepperoni. 2 swords, and the swords fit nicely in his hands, or can be squeezed into his flexible belt, or slotted into the strap for his backpack. He comes with a rifle that's very nicely painted with sharp applications all over, the purple and the yellows, and well sculpted details on the grips, as well as the little scope on top. And he holds that rifle nicely. He also comes with a pistol that's covered in paint, and this pistol has soft plastic over here and it's squishy. And he holds the pistol as well, but the grip might be a little bit big for his hands, so you might need some heat to get it in there. And his last 2 accessories are the baby turtle Slash before he turns into the mutant, and a mini coconut tree that is made of soft squishy plastic. And onto the figure itself, he's very well made and well balanced. Even with a shell and a backpack, he is still standing fine on his own in a vanilla pose. Looking at his head sculpt, paint applications are very sharply applied. You can see even the lining for his pimples are super sharp. He's got an interesting half mean, half derpy expression on his face that is very well made for his character. Moving on to his torso, again very sharply applied paint applications. Maybe just a little bit of black smudge over here in the middle. Sharply applied skull symbol on his belt. And onto his shell, he's got nicely painted spikes. Now the backpack is interesting in itself because it's also covered in paint. It also comes with soft pliable plastic for the straps. More soft pliable plastic on top as well. And because of the soft straps, his backpack can be removed. And of course, NECA didn't skip the paint applications on the shell below the backpack. However, there is some paint chipping on the tips of the spikes here and there. Onto the arms, he's got lining on his shoulder pad that's made of soft plastic. Nice blue and purple detail on the gloves. On his legs, also nice blue and purple detail on the knee pad. Some lining for the muscle definition. Green shading on his back of his leg. Sharply applied paint applications for his toenails, as well as very nice sculpted roll of skin around his ankles and his toes. And as far as I can tell, it's mostly parts reused for the body, except the hands, the knee pads, the feet, and of course the shell. Under articulation, his head is on a ball joint. It can get you sideways tilt, look up and down, not much, as well as turn from side to side. At the shoulder, he's got a swivel, as well as a hinge that goes out that much, with a little bit of hindrance from the shoulder pad and the strap. Upper bicep swivel, lower bicep swivel, single hinge at the elbow that gets you just under 90 degrees. Hands on a swivel, as well as a hinge that goes out that much and in that much. His hands also come off, but there are no alternate hands to change to. And you can see some slight paint coming off at the hinge. Because of his soft bottom shell, he gets a bit of a ab crunch, as well as a waist swivel. Swivel, hinge at the hips that get you about this much movement front and back, as well as do the side split. Upper thigh swivel. Double jointed knees that lets him kick his back of his shell. Ball jointed ankles that get you outward tilt, inward tilt, downward and upward as well as a swivel all the way around. And he's a well articulated figure that you can get into fun and expressive action poses. Although I would say that I would have liked to have alternative hands that would have up and down wrist motion instead of just the in and out. Now on to Leatherhead, and he has a whole bunch of accessories. Starting with his tail that has very nice scales and pimples again. And then on the underside you can see the bottom of his reptilian body. And the tail pops on nicely onto the ball joint on the back of him. So I had to heat up the tail a little bit so that I could put it into the ball joint, but after that it fits snugly and articulates well. He comes with 4 alternate hands, 2 gripping hands and 2 open, and you can pop on those alternate hands just fine. He comes with 2 lobsters that are painted a different shades of orange top and bottom, and he can hold these lobsters just fine in his hands, or you can have them hooked up onto his belt on these loops. He comes with an articulated bear trap that I unfortunately broke. I managed to glue the step back on, and because the hinges are so tight, whatever you do, do not articulate them on this point. If you want to articulate them, just use them on the sides to twist them and open the bear trap up. And the bear trap hooks up nicely to this clip on his belt. He comes with a nicely sculpted double-barreled rifle that looks like ketchup bottles and some grills on the bottom with yellow paint. I got a bit of paint chipping right here. And he holds his rifle nicely. But because of the way his hands are shaped, I had to heat up his hands before I could get it in between his fingers. He's also got a cuff that comes with a real metal chain, and this is real metal because it's magnetic. And the cuff is able to open up like so, and you can trap turtles with it. There's also a piece of rope that comes with an adjustable loop that can be used to capture turtles. And lastly, there is a huge net that unfolds, and you can capture the turtles in the net with the strings over here acting like drawstrings and tightening the net up to capture 2 turtles inside. Taking a closer look at the sculpt, you can see that his head sculpt is really characteristic of Leatherhead. He's got a nice, expressive and very sharply painted yellow eyes, and then with the very sharp lining. Right out of the box, his jaw was gummy, so I just heated it up and popped it off. Popping it back on, and now his jaw articulates just fine. He's got paint shading on the sides of his head, paint in his mouth as well. The paint is not so sharp on his teeth, as you can see the blacks kind of bleeding into the whites of his teeth. His hat is glued on and also has like paint and shading on it. As for his torso, his vest is sculpted as one piece with his torso, along with all the lines of, the bottom of the reptilian body. Lining and mustard light brown shading on his vest, more shading on his arms, also very sharp paint applications. Moving over to his belt, it's brown with a couple of details for the buckles and for the parts where you can attach all the other accessories. Grey underwear portion. His legs are entirely in blue, but they're still also all entirely painted with, more lines for muscle definition on his thighs, and then black shading on the back. So the next thing that bugs me is the ankle joints, which are casted in kind of human flesh colored plastic, but then painted over in dark blue, and you can see that it's all flaking off now. And even on the back, with the black shading, you can see that the ankle joints really stand out, and it really appears like they were not painted. Now in terms of part reuse, he shares quite a bit of parts with Bebop and Rocksteady. For instance, he shares the same neck as Rocksteady, as well as the same torso, arms and upper legs as Bebop and Rocksteady. The torso is probably the same sculpt underneath, but they have put an extra piece on top for, the reptilian patterns and the vest. Articulation wise, he's got the same scheme as Bebop and Rocksteady with head on a ball joint that you can go look up and then look down that far, a bit of sideways tilt, as well as a swivel, left and right, a little bit hindered by the vest, jaw articulation, swivel hinge shoulders that go all the way around and go out that much, upper bicep swivel, double jointed elbows that get you about past 90 degrees, hinge swivel at the wrist, ball jointed torso that gets you a swivel as well as some forward and backward as well as sideways tilt, ball jointed tail that lets you rotate as well. Hinge swivel at the hips to get you front and back, but the back's really hindered by the tail section. Sideways split about that much. Upper thigh swivel that's hindered by the waist portion. Double jointed knees that are really tight, that get you past 90 degrees. And a good range of ankle articulation up as well as down. And generous ankle pivot in and out. Overall, these two baddies have a great articulation scheme that I find extremely fun, and if you want to have a good idea of the kind of poses that you can get out of them, you can check out the great gallery from Fush that I will provide the link for in the description below. Now for some size comparisons, Slash stands at 14 centimeters or 5.5 inches, and Leatherhead stands at 17 centimeters or just under 7 inches. And here they are, the totals. Bebop and Rocksteady, Foot Soldiers, and Shredder and Krang, and some Marvel Legends as well. So in summary, let me just share some thoughts about this set. I'll start with the negatives, and Slash's shoulder pads get in the way of his arm movement, but they are soft and you can still get most poses out of him. For Slash, I do wish he came with alternate hands that could move up and down, in addition to the ones that he has that move in and out. For Leatherhead, he came with a stuck jaw on my copy, but I could free that up with some heat. He has some black paint bleeding on his teeth. His ankles are casted in flesh-colored plastic, but as you can see in this pose, it's not really obvious. The bat trap that he came with has really tight hinges, and you need to be careful with the part that broke for me, but that could be fixed easily with super glue. Both figures come with a lot of parts reused, but it's used correctly because the articulation works really well for both of them, and they are helped by the use of unique parts such as the head sculpt, which really brings out the characters for both of them. Unique sculpting of the spikes on Slash's shell, a very nice backpack on Slash, super sharp paint applications on both head sculpts, the interesting sculpted detail on the vest and belt for Leatherhead as well as his tail. They come with a ton of accessories, as you can see over here. I cannot stress how much fun factor and play value the accessories add to this set. The paint applications are vibrant, sharp, and they really look like they jumped straight out of the cartoon. So I really love this set, and I can strongly recommend it for all Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fans. If you can find it, this is a must get. Please like, share, and comment on my video as well as subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching.